and not completely sure what Eric's going to do, but I know it's going to be good. So, and do you want us to mute Eric?
Yeah, I'll mute you guys. Okay, so.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone's muted. You have the power to unmute if the spirit so moves you. But I wanted to, thank you, Liza. I want to introduce myself, Eric Johnson, creator and founder of Teamzy, Teamzy CRM. And I'm very excited to be with you this morning. Today, I plan to just kind of fire hose you with so much content that you leave maybe a little dizzy and overwhelmed. That's my goal, hopefully. So I'm going to show you Teamzy. I'll show you how to set it up. I'll show you how to crush a power hour, the workflows that make it amazing. Before I dive into that, though, I want to teach you just a little bit about relationship marketing, which is the system Teamzy's built upon. I think it's really important that I kind of introduce some of those principles to you so that you can get the most out of your Teamzy experience. So I'm just going to dive right on in. Oh, also, we'll do Q&A at the end. So if you have questions, I'd be happy to answer them. So this is what I want to talk to you about first: how to systemize your success with relationship marketing to become a power hour boss. This is one of my favorite hashtags, Power Hour Boss. I even wrote a book called Power Hour Boss. I'm kind of obsessed with it, but I want to teach you how to systemize your success using relationship marketing so you can get all your work done in less than an hour a day. Doesn't that sound fun? So just a little of my story. I don't know how much you guys know about me, but before Teamzy, I've been a professional business coach and consultant 20 years now, helping people build their business based on relationships. I kind of fell into the network marketing space completely by accident about 7 years ago. I was, my career was going great. I was feeling great about things. I was making good income. I really loved what I was doing, but I still kind of felt stuck. And I don't know how much you guys can relate to that. I'm sure you can. I felt stuck. There was no room for growth. I was done growing in that career. And honestly, I just kind of wanted to make some more money. But even more importantly, here's a shot of the family. I wanted to be with my family more. I didn't have any time with these folks. I was constantly working. And that's kind of what I grew up thinking was my role, like work hard and provide for your family. But I kind of wanted to be part of their lives too, not just see my kids in their pajamas. And really what was happening was I'd leave for work in the morning, the kids would be in their pajamas still. And come home in the evening, they'd be back in their pajamas getting ready for bed. And I just really wanted more than that. I wanted to be part of their lives. And so I really took a look at the direct sales network marketing opportunity as a great way to create a new side income to kind of give me some of that freedom. The challenge that I ran into right away was, oh my gosh, well, when am I going to have time to do this business? I'm already busy enough. And so I figured out with some discipline and planning that I could maybe devote 1 hour a day to the business. And so I started looking for some tools to help me leverage that time because I knew it could be done. I'd been coaching people for a long time on how to do it. The question was, were there going to be some tools to help me leverage that 1 hour so I could be really efficient with it? And you can imagine I didn't find anything compelling out there. So what happened was I got together a team of people smarter than myself, and we created Teamzy. Just because I figured if I needed it, everyone else needed it too. And since we launched Teamzy, really what's happened in just over 4 years, it's been an unbelievable journey for us. We've had more than 140,000 network marketers use Teamzy, which is a drop in the bucket really, but it's a humbling number for us. And the people in Juice Plus who've been using Teamzy actively have been getting tremendous results. They've been averaging 18 customers and 12 new recruits over 90 days. So people in Juice Plus actively using Teamzy have been averaging 18 new customers and 12 new recruits over 90 days. Oh my gosh, you guys. My friend Alicia from here in Southern California with Juice Plus, she just became a qualified national marketing director this week or last week. She had how many orders does she have? 25 Tower Garden orders or something like that last month. Insane results. So cool. I'm so proud of her. But the results have been tremendous, and it's all about being consistent. I'm going to show you exactly what to do today. And of course, we're incredibly proud to be endorsed by the Juice Plus company. And so if you haven't already started using Teamzy, you go to teamzy.com/JP to start a free trial. You can just start completely for free. No card required, nothing weird. Just go use it for a month. Love it. Okay. And after that, there's a special discount that Juice Plus has negotiated on your behalf. Okay, so once you've logged in, you get your free trial started and you log into Teamzy. Actually, we'll show you that in a minute. Let me finish teaching about relationship marketing. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting all excited. So let's talk about relationship marketing. What is it? And this seems to be kind of a buzzword lately. I started hearing people using the term relationship marketing a lot in the last couple of years, even though we've been teaching it for 20. I want you to understand, first of all, it's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. It's a philosophy of doing business that puts relationships and people ahead of sales and products. One of the reasons why I believe our industry has a bad reputation with many people is because it put the sale ahead of the friendship. At least it felt that way. So we want to make sure we put the emphasis on the relationships first. Also, this is not some abstract feel-good concept. Okay, this is a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. It's a proven system that we follow, always knowing what to do next. Nothing I'm going to show you today is theoretical. These are things that have been refined and tested in the real world with thousands of people. Okay, here's a principle I want you to get. Developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. Developing and deepening relationships is your paramount duty as a business owner. If you can focus on putting people first and focus on building relationships with them, you're going to have a great business. You're going to have a great business, one that's on solid, not shaky ground. Because what we do with relationships is we turn our relationships into advocates by investing time in providing outstanding service. We turn relationships into advocates by investing time in providing outstanding service. This isn't a sales business, it's an advocate building business. And I want you guys to understand an advocate is somebody who's so excited about what you're doing that they want to help you. They want to connect people to you so you can help them. Advocates may never buy Juice Plus from you. They may never become a customer, but they will for sure bring people to your business. And this is kind of the exciting thing, is that there's people who are going to go, it's not for me, but I'm excited to introduce you to my uncle who needs this, right? And so when we build relationships kind of with an open heart like that, amazing things happen. Next principle. Relationship marketing depends on trust. Relationship marketing depends on trust. In other words, if you're a jerk, this ain't going to work, okay? You cannot do things that are disingenuous and expect to build trust. Now, unfortunately, our industry has been built on the bait and switch approach, right? I mean, it's been built on the, hey, can I take you to coffee? And then you pull out the notebook. Surprise, I have a business presentation for you. And then these days, the modern version is trying to create some abstract concept of curiosity on social media without telling people what you're doing. I want you to understand you don't have to do that stuff. Now, can you get things to happen that way? Sure, if that's how you want to build your business. You know, but you have to decide, is that congruent with your values? With me, it's not congruent with my values. I can't do that kind of stuff. But I found that this system works best. Relationship marketing depends on trust. And when you build trust, it's fun. Trust makes the work fun. You don't have to convince people. You don't have to sell people. You get right to helping them. Also, trust removes the ickiness. There's no ickiness. You don't feel icky. They don't feel icky, right? When you're building trust. And you get to go for yes. You get to go for yes. Instead of going for no's and getting constantly rejected, you get to go for yes as you build relationships and build trust with people. So how do you actually do it? I'm going to teach you the basics on building trust today. Okay, there's 4 essential ingredients to building trust. And whether or not you guys use Teamzy, great, but please implement these into your business and life right away. Number 1 is chemistry. Number 2 is character. Okay, character. I'll go through them quickly, then I'll break them out for you. Number 3 is competence. Okay, competence is number 3. And number 4 is consistency. Chemistry, character, competence, consistency. All right, now, chemistry is where you have common ground with someone. What is it about you they can relate to? Chemistry is where you have common ground with someone. What is it about you they can relate to? I want you to think of it like this. People want to do business with friends. They want to feel known. They want to feel like a business or a business person cares for them. And so the first job is to build some rapport, ask questions, find out what you have in common with people, right? This helps people feel comfortable. Number 2 is character. Character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. Okay, character is when you demonstrate how much you care and that you're relatable. I want you to notice something about this definition. You don't actually have character. Character is something that you do. And we think of character as the sum of our past actions, but I want you to understand character is what you're demonstrating today. And character is vitally important for people to trust you and to trust your business. It's about how you show your care for others. It comes down to how you follow up with people, how you take care of your customers, how you post on social media. Are you posting things that are helpful to others, or are you just all about yourself? It comes to, I joke about this, how you drive on the highway, how you return the shopping cart at the Target parking lot. Like all of these things demonstrate character and care for other people, right? And it's a huge part of your business because people, we'll talk about this in a second, but people choose to do business or to continue to do business based on character all the time. And so 24/7, I want you to be conscious. How am I showing my care for other people? Number 3, competence. Competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. Okay, competence is when you demonstrate you're good at what you do and you're a business person. People need to feel you're competent at what you do. I'm not going to come to you to solve a problem if I don't feel you understand how to help me or you understand your product, how your product works, right? Why should I get a quad? Why should I take Juice Plus? What's the benefits for me? Do you understand how it works? How can it help me? Right? Do you know how to grow in a tower garden? Do I feel like you could help me once I buy it? I'm the owner of 2 tower gardens. Let me tell you, I have had to lean on my rep so much to figure out everything, right? There's a lot to learn. It's easy, quote unquote, but there's a lot to know. This is important. If you want me to be your customer, I need to know you're competent, right? The second piece is if you want me to join your team, I need to feel like you could actually mentor me to be successful in this business. How are you demonstrating that competence? Now, here's the thing. You may be new to the business. Great. Maybe you don't have competence yet. So it's important when you're new to lean into the competence of your team and upline. Tell people about them. Tell people how incredibly competent they are. Use their names and sentences constantly when you're new so that they know that you're aligned with a winning team. But as you journey towards competence, you need to share that journey publicly. Hey, I just learned this. I just learned that. Did you know that green vegetables do this for your body? Did you know that being properly hydrated does this for your body? Share the knowledge as you go. Share the knowledge as you go so that people see you growing in competence. Remember, your friends and family have seen you with your pants on backwards. They need to see this journey of growth before they can trust that you actually know what you're talking about. Okay? Just to, like, without getting too deep into my personal story, you guys, I lost 60 pounds in 3 months. And I was kind of like the heavy drinker, unhealthy guy. Do you know how long it took me to become the expert on nutrition and health with my family and friends? It took me a while. Does it make sense? To show them that I had changed, that I'd learned something new. Chemistry, character, competence. The first 3 pieces to building trust. Okay. Now, there's an underlying principle to these before we jump to number 4. Let me share it with you, and that's this. When somebody's thinking of doing business with you, they only really care about these 3 things. Again, this is at an emotional level. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? And are you good at what you do? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? And are you good at what you do? And just look at those questions for a second. Think of a company or a person you decided not to do business with. Was it because of one of these 3 questions? Most likely. So our goal is, between building chemistry, character, and competence, is helping people understand that they can trust us, that we do care about them, and that we are good at what we do. And when they understand at an emotional level that all of these are true, you've built an advocate. Congratulations. Now you've got somebody who's excited about what you're doing. Okay, number 4, consistency. I apologize to everyone on the call, live and on the recording, that you actually have to do some work to make this happen. We have to do things consistently to get anything in life, right? To have a nice smile, you got to brush your teeth every day. Nothing comes easy like that. You got to do stuff consistently. Consistency is the best way to build trust. People don't believe you when you say something. They believe you when you do something repeatedly. Make sense? And so we've got to be consistent products of our product, right? We need to be taking our Juice Plus and sharing our journey and growing our towers, and right? And letting people see that we're doing these things. We have to consistently share on social media that we're doing these things, that people can see what we're doing. They can see that we're being consistent. It's important, right? There's a great principle here. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. People respect consistency and desire it for themselves. Consistency builds trust. It also attracts people to you. They want to be around it. They want that. I want to be consistent like her. And that consistency is when you start hearing things like, wow, you're such an inspiration to me. I've been following you on social media. You're so inspiring. Me? I'm inspiring. It's the consistency that's inspiring. I have to tell you guys, you are in a blessed place, because as someone trying to build this business and be a leader in this business, it gives you a reason to be consistent. You do it for other people. A lot of times we won't do it for ourselves. You get to be successful in all the areas of your life because you know other people are watching, and you're helping them by being that way. Isn't that cool? It's amazing how when we're not in a position of leadership, how inconsistent our lives get. Same thing happens when we're raising kids, right? We're suddenly we're better people because kids are watching. And that's the kind of like what being a leader in this business is like too. But here's what I want to ask you guys. Are you as consistent? We talked about using Juice Plus, posting on social. Are you as consistent with relationships? Are you as consistent about staying in touch with people? This is what really matters when building this business, is connecting with people consistently. Relationship building is a contact sport. And what that means is you have to be in regular contact with people if you want relationships. I know your time is scarce, but don't worry. That's why I built Teamzy. I'll show you how easy it is with Teamzy to do this. But you have to understand, a successful business is built on genuine relationships. Genuine relationships require consistent contact. Here's a principle that I want to kind of highlight before we jump into Teamzy. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Investing time and connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Now, just really quick on this. Do you guys all have your cameras on? I'll just see your face for a quick sec. How many of you have ever received just a really great card or letter from somebody that you love that had a handwritten message in it, and when you read that message, it was like, oh my gosh, right? Do you guys know what I mean when I say, oh my gosh? Yes. Okay, everyone raise their hand. Thank goodness. I was gonna say, otherwise put your address in the chat so that we can write you a card right now, because everyone should have at least one of those. Now, you probably all thought of one or two cards specifically. Do you still have it? Did you keep it? Did you save it somewhere? How many of you have a stash of these cards and letters over the years that you can't part with? Isn't that amazing that we all do that? I mean, I have taught this class in every English-speaking continent and a few places in Asia where they also speak English, and everybody saves the cards. It's incredible. Even after we pass on, our family often saves cards and letters and treasures them. Incredible that we value it so much. Now, here's another example. This is a happy birthday postcard that I received from my life insurance salesperson. Have you guys ever received these postcards from businesses or, right, the dentist or whatever? It's nice. Is it nice to get a little happy birthday postcard? Yeah. Has this been saved in this special place? Do you think my son Cruz will use this as the bookmark in the family Bible when I'm gone? No way. In fact, it would have already been tossed, except for I like to really make fun of it on these trainings. These go right in the trash, don't they? The recycling. Why don't we value these as much? So let's just think about the principle I just shared with you. This card required no time. It required no investment of time, so it has no value to us. It's also not personal. This is a bulk mail out. It's not personal connection. It required no investment of time. So it really doesn't do anything for our relationship, and we don't value it. We toss it in the trash. Does this make sense? If you want to build relationships, you have to invest time and connect personally. Now, do you need to be writing people cards and letters all the time? No, you don't. But I mean, whenever you can think of a reason to, do it, because they will save it forever. They'll save it forever. Excuse me. However, if you do take a few seconds to connect personally with somebody via something simple like a text message or a Facebook Messenger, It's enough to make people's day, and it absolutely advances the relationship, which is why we built Teamzy. I'm going to show you in a minute how simple this is. Does this make sense? But it has to be an investment of time that is personal. And a lot of times we are seduced by all these people selling marketing programs that are automated. Have you guys heard about automated marketing? Oh yeah, you just sign up, fire and forget. Don't worry about it. What happens is it's not personal, requires no investment of time. It has very little value or impact. What we need to do to be successful is find a system that helps us to personally connect with many people in an efficient way. Make sense? So here we go. For review, that principle was this: investing time. Where is it? Investing time in connecting with people is the only way to deepen relationships. Okay, so here's the thing. We got to have a system though. Philosophy is great. Got to have a system to implement it. You need a way to stay in contact with all of your relationships. You need to know when to contact them. In other words, don't spend 3 hours planning so you can do half an hour of work. Know what you're going to say. How do you start a conversation without being cheesy or salesy? Do you know how to do that? You need to know exactly what to say so you don't overthink. Make sure that nobody falls through the cracks. This is huge. Most people do fall through the cracks. So you got to have a system that's watertight. All right. So let me show you Teamzy. I always say, if you guys saw my virtual training from the Juice Plus conference in the early summer, then you saw me say, trying to do this business without Teamzy is like drinking water through your hands. Everything falls through the cracks, right? You can quench your thirst, but you waste more than you drink. So let's dive into Teamzy. Now, as I mentioned before, if you go to teamzy.com/JP, you can get a free 30-day trial of Teamzy. After the 30 days, there's a special discount because of our relationship with Juice Plus Corporate. Once you've gone into your free trial and logged in, this is what you'll see. It's the first screen of the setup wizard. Now, I am not a technically amazing person. How many of you guys would not rate yourself as technically amazing? I like to think of myself as amazing in other ways, but I'm not great with technical things. So when we built Teamzy, I said it has to be easy enough for me to use. The setup wizard helped you set Teamzy up as easily as possible. Now, if any of you have ever had to use a CRM software platform for work or whatever, you know they are ridiculously and annoyingly complex. So we've made Teamzy unbelievably simple. There's a little video from me. We're going to skip that because you have me live. The first real thing I want you to do in Setup Wizard is set an income goal. What's your income goal? How much income do you want to make from your business? And this goal is 12 months into the future. So if I were to start using Teamzy today, what would I want my income to be 12 months into the future? Okay. Got a little frog in my throat. And what you do is you just slide this little ball up or down to get the income level you want to do. Now, this is one of the first things that Teamzy does that's so cool, is we know exactly what kind of activity you need to be doing to get to your goal in 12 months. So my goal when I started was $150,000 a year because that was the salary I wanted to replace. So you can see at that level, Teamzy's telling me every day I need to connect with 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 partners on my team. Okay, 19 people a day. I do that 5 days a week for 12 months. I hit my goal. Simple, right? One of the things I love about Teamzy is it's a system. You know exactly what to do and who to do it with. So once I click continue, now Teamzy is set up to my specific goal, right? And you can change those goals at any time, you guys. Just set it to whatever goal is appropriate for you. The next thing we want to do is get all our contacts into Teamzy. We want to be organized so that you're not running after sticky notes or pads of paper that you can't find, or trying to organize spreadsheets. Maybe you're not good at that like me. I'm not a big spreadsheets person. Get them all into Teamzy, one place so that your contacts can be organized. Okay. So you get your back office, your team, your customers in, your Facebook friends, you can import Instagram followers. You can get everybody into Teamzy. Teamzy lives in the cloud. So you always have it. It's in your phone. It's in your computer. Okay. So once you've got all your contacts into Teamzy, you're ready to rock. Here's the Teamzy dashboard for Juice Plus. Pretty cool. Okay. I'll show you a couple things really quick, and then we're going to dive into doing a power hour. So I'm just going to scroll down a little bit. You see right here, it says today's activities. Today's activities. These are the activities I need to do today to hit my goal. Now, one of the things I love about Teamzy is it doesn't say, hey, remember your goal is 150,000 and so far you've made 0. So you've got all this to go. No, what it does is it says, here's what you need to do today, Eric. That's it. So again, my goal was to connect with 9 prospects, 6 customers, and 4 partners, right? So just to kind of keep in mind, what do I mean by connect? Do I mean send them a video and hope they'll watch it? No, I do not mean that. When I say connect, I simply want you to connect to make somebody's day. And I want you to get in a place, I call it the make someone's day mindset. Just put yourself in the make someone's day mindset. How am I going to make this person's day? That's my only goal. Okay. See, the thing is that it's not appropriate to share your business or your products with someone until you understand they have a problem that needs to be solved by it. Well, but Eric, everyone needs Juice Plus, but they don't know that. Not yet. Okay. Does this make sense? This is how you build. You have to build interest first. So first, we're going to make people's day. So my goal is to make people's day for 9 of my prospects, 6 of my customers, 4 of my partners on my team, because those relationships are super important too. We'll talk more about that in a minute. And then I've got a goal to share 3 times. Now, what do I mean by share? I just want you guys to know how simple this is, because people are always like, what about this? What about that? A share is when I share a product solution with somebody, or when I share the business opportunity with somebody. Okay, that's a share. So a lot of the conversation is to lead to the share. But when I do actually do one of those things, I log it in Teamzy as a share. My goal is to do that 3 times a day. And then I've also got a goal to add new people to Teamzy. That's just I'm meeting people and putting them in there. I just want you guys to be consciously trying to add new people to your list on a daily basis. Just a couple. Okay, just a couple. Facebook friends, whatever. Just trying to always add new people. Your business is like a garden. You need to constantly be planting in that garden, right? Make sense? You need to constantly be tilling your soil and freshening it up. Okay. All right, so those are my daily goals. Now, here's a little principle that I love. If you want to build a business that's big, you must have a focus that's small. If you want to build a business that's big, you must have a focus that's small. Now, I'm one of those long-term thinking people. And my wife is a short-term thinking person, which is why we're married, right? People always balance each other out. So I could be, you could break my leg and I'm already visualizing how great it's going to be to get the cast off. My wife is like, this really hurts, right? That's just the way we're wired. So for me, it's really helpful to go, okay, I just need to focus on this today. And for her, it makes sense. Well, of course, this is what I would focus on. It's today, right? So this helps everybody. Now, I'm going to show you now, those are our goals. Let me show you how this works. Here's the Power Hour module. Now, Teamzy, if you haven't seen, how many of you guys are familiar with Teamzy already to some extent? Has everyone taken a look at it? Okay. So Teamzy is a CRM. That stands for Contact Relationship Management software. It's a lot of words. It just means that it's kind of like an electronic Rolodex. It keeps track of all your contacts, all their contact information. It logs all your conversations with them, right? All that boring stuff. And if you go to the team page, you'll find the full list of everybody that's in your Teamzy and all their contact information on the right? But on the dashboard, it does something really cool, something that no other CRM does. It takes all that data and it says, here's who's up next for you to contact. You don't have to think or plan. It just brings it to you and it cycles everybody through so that nobody can ever fall through the cracks. It's really cool. And it does it based on a real simple system of prioritization, but the number one thing is their rank. Notice the numbers next to people's names. This is how many stars I've given them. So we have a simple system, a 5-star system. So you rate somebody 5 stars if they're, your best relationships, 4 stars if they're a little less hot, 3 stars, 2 stars, and so on. And the stars not only prioritize them, but it sets when they're going to cycle back. So if they're a 5-star person, they come back to your list automatically every 30 days. 4-star people come back automatically every 60 days. 3-star people come back automatically every 90 days. 2-star people come back automatically every 120 days. So the more the more trust you have with somebody, the better relationship you have with somebody, you're going to want to talk to them more. So you give them a higher rating. Does this make sense? Once you've rated your list, you don't ever have to think. You don't ever have to plan. You just log into Teamzy and you connect with whoever's up next, and the system will always just cycle people through. You don't have to set follow-ups with people because they're going to cycle through based on rank. Make sense? We do have a follow-ups list, which I'll show you in a second what we use that for. So if you look in the Power Hour, it gives me 4 lists. Uh-oh, there it goes. My mouse wasn't working for a second. 4 lists: prospects, customers, partners, and my follow-ups. Okay, the follow-ups is empty, and I'll show you what that's for in a second. We use that kind of to follow up on specific shares. The right-hand side is where I log the activity as we go. Okay, so there's no homework. It's done as we go. It's tracked. I don't have to remember later to log in Teamzy and track what I did. It's there. If you end up talking to somebody randomly, unexpectedly, and you want to log it in Teamzy, it's in your phone. So you've always got your phone in your hand. You pull it up, log it, done. Okay, super easy. All right, so let me show you how to do this. We're gonna go ahead and do a power hour together. So I always start with my prospects, work from left to right, work through these lists. And my goal is just to send a message to each person on the list in the power hour, okay? Just to send a message. And the message, again, remember, my goal is to make someone stay. So the first person on my list is Liza. I'm gonna send her a message. Now, what do I say? This is one of the things I used to stick with. How do I start this conversation? How can I do this without coming across cheesy or salesy or making her think I'm trying to flirt with her or whatever? How can I just quickly and easily start this conversation? And so over the years, I came up with these little scripts, simple icebreaker scripts that I refined down to the minimum amount of words possible to be super effective. And we built a scripts library into Teamzy for you. So they're all available for you guys to use. Now, you can also upload your own scripts into Teamzy so they're there for you to grab whenever you want. But let me just show you how I do this. I would go to right here to scripts and click on it. Now I'm going to message her on Facebook because we're Facebook friends. So I'm going to pick those scripts and maybe just take the first one off the list, connect number 1. I don't know if you can see it on your screen, so I'll read it to you. Here's how it reads. It says, "Hi, Jane, just stopping by to say hello. How are you? I hope your day is awesome." It's a super simple script, okay? Now I'm just going to copy that script by clicking on the button that says copy script. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste it in Teamzy so that I can do editing in a safe place where I don't accidentally send it with the wrong name. So I'm just going to put in the right name. I'm going to add some emojis. I like emojis. I feel like emojis take away the threat, right? Like, why is he messaging me? Oh, he sent a nice emoji. It's just a nice message, right? Okay, so now I've got it just the way I want it. I've got the right name. I've got a couple of emojis. Now I'm going to copy it so that I can actually send it to her on Facebook. So I'll just toggle over here and I'll just look her up. Okay. How are we not friends? We're not friends? But anyways, I'm just going to message her. Okay, so I'll paste that in. Great. So now I've sent her the message. And I log that as a Facebook message. Now see right here, the big blue button. Try to say blue button 5 times fast. Wow. Log connect, boom, it's logged. Now look what happened. She's gone off my list and my list has moved up. And you can see this little blue circle starting to fill in, okay? The next person on my list is Jay. Now I'll just use that same script. It's still on my clipboard. Just paste it in there and change the name to Jay. And I've already got my emojis. Just be as efficient as you can, okay? Copy. How many of you guys are in New England? Couple, see? I don't know if you guys still say this, but you can change that script to say, I hope your day is wicked awesome if you want. Just kidding. I grew up in New England in the 90s. That's how we talked. All right, send message. So look, there it is, ready to go. We're sending it to Jay. Boom, done. Okay. All right, so now I'm logging that one. You guys see how quickly you can get going once you get the hang of this? So look, I've got 3 done and now I have 6 left and that circle's filling in. So when that circle goes all the way blue, that's a visual cue that, hey, you're done with your prospects. You can move to the next thing now. You ever wonder if you've done enough? So now you'll know based on goal, I'm done with that. So go to the next list, which is customers. Okay, and again, whoever's up next. So Amanda's up next, great. We're gonna send her a message. Now, when I go to scripts now, Teamzy knows that I'm with a customer and it changes the scripts. Now they're customer scripts, which is pretty cool. So I've got some great ones like this. Jane, you're doing great. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations on. Maybe she just did the shred 10, right? So cool. Or, hi, John, how are you enjoying the products? Like maybe it says, how are you enjoying your tower garden? Please send me an update. Let me know how I can be of help. Such simple scripts to check in with your customers. Here's my favorite customer script. This one also works with partners on your team. Hi, Jane, just checking in to see if there's anything I can do to make your day. Is there anything I can do to make your day? Have any of you guys used this script? Pretty awesome, isn't it? People are like, oh my gosh, you just made my day by sending me that. So we do the same thing, okay, with our customers. We go in here, we connect. It's exactly the same way. Okay, go ahead and send it in. I'm not gonna actually send it to Amanda. She's a real person. She's probably gonna be like, why is he messaging me right now? but you get the idea. So I'm going to send this to them. Boom, connect with customers. Okay. And you're going to work your way down the list and you see the little red filling in. Okay. Just really quick on this. This is a huge piece of the business, staying in touch with customers. It's so important, and very few people do this consistently. And it's such a huge missed opportunity. Because here's the thing I want you guys to understand. It takes a lot of work to find customers and to find partners, doesn't it? It does. Now, these people have already said, yeah, I trust you enough to buy something from you. Oh my gosh. This is an amazing relationship to have, right? Even people who, pay attention guys, even people who were customers and aren't currently a customer, treat them as if they are currently a customer. Okay? Just because they didn't take Juice Plus for a while and they got a backlog and they canceled doesn't mean they're not into it still. Are you with me? They just have forgotten to reorder. You need to stay in touch with them. Now, here's what happens when you're in regular contact with people. First off, it's great service. How many of you guys want to provide great service? Yeah. But the magical things that happen from a business perspective is that when you're in regular contact with people, with your customers, they order more and they retain longer. Okay, they order more and they retain longer. You'll be amazed. People will start with a quad. You're in touch. They'll add the shakes. They'll add the omegas. Are you guys with me? Because you're in regular contact, and they'll retain longer because they have a relationship with you and they feel like they're part of something. This is a statistical fact across all businesses, you guys. Regular contact with customers means more product orders and longer retention. So that's a great reason to do it. It's also going to be really fun doing it this way. You're going to enjoy connecting with them. The other main reason why you need to be in regular contact with customers is because the best source for a new customer and the best source for new partners are current customers. Okay? You can go buy a $99 Instagram class, but I'm here to tell you the people who've already bought something from you are a better source to find new people. Because here's what's happening. Think about a customer right now. Can you guys all think of one customer you just love? Oh my gosh, is there some way that I could just clone this person and I'd be good to go? Yeah, think about that person. They are loving it. And what do people do when they love something? They tell other people about it. So you've got customers right now talking to their friends and family about Juice Plus. You know, I'm a Juice Plus customer, and I have to tell you that every time somebody comes over to my house, they want a tower garden and they want to get gummies for their kids. Like it just happens, right? And then I'm like, oh, well, you know, here's my Juice Plus rep. It happens a lot. The question I have for you is, are you getting introduced to those people? Or are those conversations just happening and nothing's happening from it? If you're not in regular contact with your customers, that's what happens. They're not gonna automatically contact you. Does this make sense? You need to be available so that you can ask people, hey, you know, Sarah, you've been getting amazing results. I know that you've been feeling great, and you haven't been sick in 3 years since you've been using Juice Plus. I'm sure you've probably told friends and family about it. And before I get too busy this month, Sarah, is there anybody that you care about that I should get more information to? She says, well, yeah, actually, I was talking to my friend Robin about it the other day. Perfect. Would you mind introducing me to Robin? Whatever's easiest, just a group text, group message on Facebook, whatever's easiest for you, and I'll get her some more info. I'll take it from there. Great. Now what happens is she introduces me to Robin. Robin now trusts me because Sarah introduced her to me. Okay. Now I can start talking to Robin. Now what happens when Robin's interested in making a purchase? I come back to Sarah and say, Sarah, thank you so much for introducing me to Robin. I'm so excited to be helping her. She's interested in getting started. Before I put her order through though, Sarah, have you ever considered doing what I do? Do you guys see where I'm going with this? This is the most natural way to build business. This is the way business has been built since the beginning of time, by relationship. And all the fancy, shiny things that happen out there in the world are a distraction from the truth of how people want to interact with each other. Now, Teamzy gives you technology to leverage it so that you can be efficient at doing it. Does it make sense? But stay in touch with your customers. Be there for them. Build a relationship with them. Then it's natural to say, hey, who are you talking to? Did you know that 82% of Americans seek a recommendation from a friend before making a purchase? Doesn't say 82% of Americans trust Google. They seek a recommendation from a friend. Okay. So your customers are your best bet. Stay in touch with them. They'll introduce you to people like crazy. And when people introduce you to people, now you've got new partners. Who wouldn't want those orders put under them? Some of those people will become builders. Some of those people will just be solid legs. Make sense? Are you with me? Yeah. Okay. Where am I? Back to Teamzy. So we're going to do our customers. When this circle turns pink, I've connected with my customer goal for the day, and then I go to partners. Now I'm going to connect with my partners, let them know I love them and I'm thinking about them. And here's the thing I want you guys to get. Like, yeah, as your team grows, you're going to have a team page, team group, whatever. You're going to do Zoom calls. You're going to bring the Teamzy guys in to do trainings, right? That's when you're big time. Just kidding. Kinda. But here's the thing that you can never replace, the personal one-on-one connection. Remember what we talked about? Personal connection, investment of time. A little text message. Proud of you. Hey, I saw you got a new customer. Great job. Or, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Is there anything I can do to help you this month? Are you guys with me? Just a little connection. Why is this so important? The turnover rate in our industry is 50% a year. That means on average, if you recruit 2 partners to your team, 1 will quit within 12 months. And how do you keep people long enough to help them to be successful? It's by having a personal connection. The number one motivator for people is relationship. Now you can take my word for it. You can go read every social science study that's ever been done on workplace productivity. It all leads back to relationship, right? Or you can read the original social science tome, which is the Bible. It's interesting how all the studies just back up those same principles, just saying. Okay, but whichever one you want to rely on, all the sciences I've read it all, and it all leads to one thing, relationship. That's why we're going to stay in touch with our partners too. And then the last list is follow-ups. Well, Eric, you said I don't need to set follow-ups. It's automatic in Teamzy. What we do with follow-ups is after we've shared with somebody, we put them on a follow-ups list because it's different. Now we're not just building a relationship. They've said, yes, I'm interested. I want your help. And now it's your job to follow up like a pro. Now, let me just give you an example. So we connected with Liza early on in the power hour. We just sent her a message. Great. Made her day. She responds. Nice to hear from you. Now I have a chance to actually have a conversation with Liza. Now it may not go anywhere at the beginning. Maybe it does. Some of them do. Some of them don't. That's why we want to create many conversations a day, right? So let's say we're having a great talk. She's like, what's going on with you? How's your summer been? How are you guys doing? Send me an update. Let me know what's going on with you. So she starts giving me her little update on what they've been up to this summer. Okay. This is my chance to now ask questions and get interested. Oh, wow, that's cool. What about this? What about that? And I'm learning about what's been happening in her life and I'm listening. A lot of people will, if you get them in conversation, by the way, they will share their pain with you. They either straight up complain, tell you what they're going through, or they make jokes about it. They make little sarcastic quips, which I find is the most common thing. They make a little joke about, hasn't 2020 been fun? Or whatever. And if you dig in, you'll usually find what the pain points are. These are important because we're in the job of helping people. And so first you need to find out where they need help. Now, here's a little pro tip for you. Don't spend the conversation trying to think about when to jump Juice Plus into the conversation. Spend the conversation trying to find a way to help these people. And it may not have anything to do with Juice Plus. Remember, the relationship comes first. It may be, wow, I've noticed in the last 2 weeks, so many people have passed on in my life. Whether it's the community of Teamzy users that are losing people, my own family, we've had 2 major losses in the last month. It's just like everywhere. So maybe something like that. And somebody needs a friend to pray with them or just to be with them, just to be present with them. Maybe they have some specific need, like they're struggling with having their kids at home and you can find them a resource on helping kids with at-home learning. Maybe you can help them find a roofer because their roof is leaking. Like, honestly, you guys, just how can you help? So as I'm talking to Liza and we're having these conversations and I'm listening and it's a great conversation, she's catching me up and I'm thinking kind of, taking notes in my mind, thinking about how I can help her. She gives me her update and I'm going to give her my update too. Right? It's the law of reciprocity. She expects me now. Well, what about you, Eric? She may not even ask, but it's like kind of like, I just laid my whole life out. Are you going to tell me what's going on with you? Yeah, of course. Here's what we've been doing. Here's what we've been struggling with. Right. And I'm going to tell her about my business because that would be really strange to leave out. Are you guys with me? People are always like, how do I talk about Juice Plus? Well, it's completely normal. You're telling people about your life, your wife, your dog, your kids, and your business. I don't know if you know this, Liza, but I started my own business. It's an at-home business. It's been amazing. Oh, really? What is it? Yeah, I help people get healthy, build up their immune health. Also have an amazing solution for helping people to easily grow organic produce at home. It's been amazing. I don't know if you ever heard of the Juice Plus company, but I partnered with them because in this area that I'm passionate about, they're the best people. Wow, that's really cool. Now, here's what I want you to know. When you tell people what you do and why you're passionate about it, they will always be happy for you. When you tell people what you do and why you're passionate about, they'll always be happy for you. Okay? So how do I now see if she's interested? It's really simple. I would just say, yeah. And she's like, wow, that's great for you. Say, great. Yeah. And if you ever want to learn more about it, let me know. I'd be happy to help. I'd be happy to get you some more info. If you're interested in learning about the products or even the business opportunity, let me know and I'll be happy to get you more info. Okay. That's it. You gauge, you measure their motivation. You see how interested they are at this point. Now, here's what I will tell you guys. Most people are not that interested the first time you talk to them. Does this make sense? Do you know how many times I had to ask my wife out? But she's my wife. So eventually I won. She won. We won together. I didn't expect her to say, I want to be your wife the first time I said hello to her. Does it make sense? Now, the truth is, if I had walked up to her and said, will you marry me? She probably would have never spoken to me again, which is the mistake we often make in this business. So have a great conversation. Let them know what you do and why you're passionate about it, and put it out there. Put it out there in a way that's not threatening, that doesn't close the door on your next conversation. Now, she says, yeah, I am kind of curious. Now, what I found was that people who knew me and trusted me and understood my integrity already would often be like, tell me more about what you're doing. Because they thought, well, here's somebody I trust already. And so it must be a good opportunity. Let me hear more about it. Tell me more about it, which is great. So let's just pretend she said, yeah, okay, great. I want to learn more. Great. Now I'm going to get her on a call, get her on a Zoom, FaceTime, whatever's easiest for 5 minutes. Hey, let's get off Messenger now and just talk for 5 minutes. And, really what I want to hear from you, Liza, is what are your goals? And that'll help me know if I can even help with them. Okay. Sorry, that's what I'm giving you guys all my best stuff. How can you present an opportunity if you don't know what they want to achieve? Can you imagine if you went to a doctor's office because you weren't feeling well and the nurse brought you a catalog of all the pharmaceuticals that the doctors sell in the office? These are all the pharmaceuticals we sell in this office. Go ahead and browse through and see if any of them are of interest to you. If you'd like, we've got some videos on some of these pharmaceuticals. And if it catches your eye, let me know and I'll place your order for you. Would that work for you guys? No, the nurse asks you questions. She finds out what's going on. What are you feeling? Then she brings the information to the doctor who comes in and asks more questions. They want to find out exactly what you need help with. And then they offer a solution. That's the way we need to run our business too. So now I'm talking to Liza. We jump on a quick call. We're talking. I'm asking her questions. What's going on with you? What's interesting? What about what I said was interesting to you? What are things going on in your life? And now, of course, I've got information too, because we've had a great conversation leading up to this. And, so if she complained about her boss, I go, I remember you were telling me your boss is a jerk. I mean, what's great about this business is you get to work for yourself, right? Or whatever the pain points were that she told us. Have a conversation with her. And so as I'm talking to her, I'm sharing with her the products, I'm sharing with her the business opportunity. How do I log that in Teamzy? How do I show that I did a share with her? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look her up in the lookup bar because she's not on my dashboard anymore. That brings me to her contact record. Open up the connect box there, just like on the dashboard. And so I'm going to log this video chat we had. I'm going to put my notes from our chat. I'm going to click on share. See the bottom left, share? So now I'm going to put this on a business opportunity because we talked about the business on this call. Boom. Now, as soon as I do that, it activates the follow-up. It activated it automatically for 2 days, but you can set it to whatever you want. And I would usually set it for tomorrow. Okay. So now when I log this, I now have a follow-up scheduled for tomorrow on her record. If I go to the dashboard, you can see that on the follow-ups list. There she is, due for tomorrow. Make sense? So just quick statistics on follow-ups, and then we'll get to the Q&A I promised. 20% of the people who get to this point will actually make the purchase. The ones who say, yes, I'm gonna buy, this is so cool, I can't wait to get started. 20% will make the purchase. 80% will not. Have you guys noticed that you go to the next day to your back office and you're like, oh, she didn't complete a purchase yet, what's up? So just assume they're part of the 80% and set a follow-up. And tell them, hey, look, I'm gonna send you all the information you need right now on how to do it, the links to sign up, everything. And then I'll check in with you tomorrow to see if you have any questions. Why are you checking in tomorrow? Because most likely they won't do it tonight. So now she's on my follow-ups list. Tomorrow when I do my power hour, I connect with prospects, customers, partners, just like I showed you. And then I go to see who's due on follow-ups. Liza will be due and I'll send her a follow-up message. It's just like sending a connect message. Go to scripts, choose a follow-up message. Now, just to help you guys, I put 10 follow-up scripts in order, numbered in Teamzy. Honestly, you don't have to think. So follow-up number 1, it reads like this. Hi, Jane, just checking in like I promised I would. What questions do you have for me? Copy that script. I know I've got a lot of highly educated people on this call. So you guys have had some psychology. You can see the psychology in these scripts. They're simple and basic, non-threatening, loving, simple. So there's my script. Okay, change the name. Ready to go. Now it's just the way I want it. Go send it to her. Let's see here. Find her. You can actually put their links in Teamzy, so you just click it and jump to them. I just never bother, but I don't spend the time with it. It doesn't take me very long to look them up. We're friends now, so now I can just send a message without opening it. Thanks for accepting me, Liza. All right, so there's my follow-up message. Boom, it's in, sent. Okay. And then I log it in Teamzy. Now, when I log it, what'll happen is Teamzy's gonna ask me, okay, we're clearing the follow-up you set for today. Do you wanna add another one? Yes, I do. I wanna follow up again, let's say in 2 days. Okay, and this, leave myself a note, it's gonna be follow-up number 2 next time. Great. And then add that follow-up, okay? So now it's logged the follow-up, set a new one. See how easy that is? Now, this is really huge, you guys. The following up is the key to the business. 80% of all sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. 80% of all sales happen between the 7th and 10th follow-up. Most people follow up 3 or 4 times. They think they're doing a good job, and they've given up on most of the opportunities in their business. Okay, so what I recommend you do is when you get them on that follow-ups list, every time you follow up with them, you set a new one. Now, each time you might push it out in time a little bit as time goes on, but always set them on that follow-ups list. As long as they're on the follow-ups list, they're not going to show up on the prospects list in Teamzy while they're on that follow-ups list, because now you're being a professional. You're following through on your promise to serve them. Does this make sense? Now, I want to talk to you real quick about following up, because a lot of people are intimidated by following up 10 times. They feel like they're going to be annoying or a nag or be seen in a negative light for doing that. How many of you guys kind of feel that way? It's okay. You can admit it. And honestly, you might come across that way if you do it kind of in the traditional way. So I'm going to teach you how to follow up so that you're not annoying real quick before we go to questions. But I do want you guys to understand something important. Let me see hands if you're in this business because you truly believe in the products, you believe they can change people's lives. Okay, good. All of y'all. All y'all. What about the business opportunity? Do you think it's a great business opportunity? Yes. Okay, good. So look, here's the thing I want you guys to understand. It doesn't matter how good the products, how good Juice Plus products are. It doesn't matter how good the compensation plan is. If they don't ever make that purchase, it's not going to help them. True? It's not going to help them. So if you truly want to help people, the only tool that you have that can impact their life is your ability to follow up with them. The follow-up is how you impact their lives. This is why I always say following up is an act of love. Following up is an act of love. Write that down. Make it your mantra. Put it somewhere where you see it all the time to encourage you. Following up is an act of love. Because here's the truth. When Liza says, yes, I'm interested, and I say, great, I'll follow up, and then she doesn't respond, which I want you guys to know, most people won't respond to the first maybe 6 follow-ups, nothing but crickets. Have you guys had that happen to you? Nothing. When I give up on her after 3 or 4 follow-ups, what I have communicated to her is, I didn't really mean it. I don't really care about you. Think about a time when you were disappointed somebody didn't follow up more. Isn't that kind of the emotion? And you're worried, oh, I don't want to be a pest. But what you're telling them is, I don't care about you. You need to follow up. You need to follow up until they're ready. Now, what's happening is just life's happening. Life's happening. She sees my message, means to respond, but she's busy at that moment, so she doesn't open it, right? And life goes on. This is what happens. They're not ghosting you. Okay? The only people who ghost each other, I mean, maybe they are ghosting you if you came on strong and tried to hit them with one of those, what I call a cold invite script, which is what's so commonly taught across our industry because people are sick of those, right? But in general, she means to respond. She just isn't right now. It's not her top priority. She means to. Make sense? So here's what I want to teach you. 2 principles to follow up without ever being annoying. All of 10 of my scripts already follow these principles in Teamzy. You can just copy and paste them. Principle number 1, don't ask them to do anything in the follow-up. Don't ask them to do anything in the follow-up because that can be annoying. Don't ask them to call you. Don't ask them, right? And last night I was on a training and I had somebody, actually a Juice Plus person say, but I've always been told, always ask a question in the follow-up. And I go, yeah, and that's probably why people are annoyed with you. I know that I go against the grain, you guys. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. It's like these tactics that have been taught for the last 40 years, they will close people, but at a low percentage. And you have to crank through thousands of people to get those systems to work enough to build your business. Now, one of the things that I've learned in 20 years of helping people build business is somewhere between 3 and 5% of people are wired for that constant rejection to build a business that way. And they're the ones who get to teach us how to do it. 95% of us are like me, hate rejection. Do I have any of you on the call? Hate rejection. So let's just treat people the way we want to be treated. It actually works better. It actually converts at a higher rate, right? And then those are the people who now have a way to build business because 95% of the people you add to your team won't be able to do that stuff either. Does this make sense? So we treat people the way they want to be treated. So don't ask a question. Don't ask them to do anything. You can ask a question like, how are you? But don't ask them to do anything, okay? The second principle is make sure that they can read your entire message without opening it. Make sure they can read your entire message without opening it. Why is this? Because most of the time they won't open it. They're not going to open it because they don't want to respond right now. And since they can't respond right now, they don't want to send the read receipt. Do you guys ever do this with people? I'm going to save that for later. But what they do want to do, because we all have this innate desire, they're going to see the message. They want to see it. They want to read it. And so now with smartphones, we can read the message on our screen without opening it. And if it's short enough, they can read the whole thing and they get the satisfaction of knowing they got the whole message. So we want to stay in touch. We want to stay present. We want to stay caring. And we do it by just being present with them with short messages that they always get. Now, here's what I tell you will happen psychologically. Every time they get the message, they will get a little warm feeling for a second. The hope and excitement they had while talking to you about the opportunity will come back for a second before their life takes over. But those culminate over time. And what happens is after about 6 or 7 follow-ups with no response, you'll get a response. And it's usually something like this. I'm so sorry I haven't responded to your messages. Thank you so much for staying in touch. Okay? This is like clockwork. This is the way human beings work, and it just works, you guys. So as you set people up, 20% of them will close right away. You'll get those. You'll be so excited. Most people will take longer. And so the way you work it in Teamzy is every day your goal is to start conversations with people and make people's day. Some of those conversations lead to shares. Those people go on the follow-ups list. First half of the power hour, sending messages to make people's day. Second half of the power hour, sending follow-up messages to everyone that's on that list that's due today. You do that 5 days a week, you're going to have the business of your dreams, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And, you know, people share stories with me that are just incredible. I know Liza's in my boot camp, and so she's seen some of these. People share amazing story. You know, I've been doing boot camp now. This is my 3rd year doing boot camp, and we do it once a quarter. And I have to, can I just share this with you guys honestly? People get great results. I mean, business results and stuff. You can tell I want that for people, but I'm really more about the heart stuff. Every single boot camp, somebody shares a message that somebody responds and says, I was in the middle process of killing myself when your message came in. And thank you so much for reaching out. It meant the world today to know somebody cared about me. Every single boot camp that has been shared at least once. Isn't that incredible? I mean, do not underestimate the power of you spending a few seconds to reach out to people, and you get to the parts of the list where you're like, well, I haven't talked to this person in a long time. Like, well, I guess I'll send it. Like, that heartfelt message means a lot to people, especially in the times we're in right now. People were already feeling disconnected. Now with all this pandemic stuff, like, people are really feeling isolated and alone. Even people who are home can feel alone. Even people who are home with a large family around them can feel alone because they're isolated from friends or isolated from new relationships. Does this make sense? As you build your business this way, it's very rewarding, and financially you'll be good too. But just I want you guys to know, because all of you raised your hands and said you're people who want to change lives. Like, this approach really is helpful to people as opposed to kind of being annoying, right? Make sense? So that's how we do it. And then what happens is, in this example, when she signs up on my team, let me show you how to log it in Teamzy, and then we'll do Q&A. So where did Teamzy go? Here it is. So let's say she signs up on my team. I'm going to go to her record, her full record in Teamzy. And what I'll do is click on sale, just log a sale. Simple, right? Just, was it retail or did she come on as a distributor? So I'm going to click on application fee and save it. So that shows that we got a sale. I'll tag what she bought. So let's say she got a quad and a tower. That'd be a pretty good day, right? She's got a quad and a tower, right? That's what I bought, so I figure other people will too. And she came in as a partner, personally sponsored. Done. Now she's moved all the way through the process in Teamzy. Make sense? Okay. So now that I've blitzed you with all that info, if you guys have questions, here's where I encourage you to just unmute your microphone and ask away.
I have a bunch, but let's start with this one. When you say don't ask them to do anything in the follow-up, so if you have said, if you've sent them a video to watch, are you not going to say, have you had a chance to watch that or not?
That's a really good question, to which I have a very long answer. But first, let me ask you a question. What would you say the response rate is on sending out the video? How many people are like, yeah, I watched it? Or how many people just kind of, you have to chase forever about whether or not they watched it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know percentage-wise, but probably a small percent.
Yeah. So this question came up last night on my call. And I know we're taught to send that video. The thing is this, I'm just going to be real with you guys. And again, I don't want to upset your uplines or whatever. And I don't want them coming after me going, how dare you tell my people this? But like, I don't think sending a video link is a very effective way of getting people interested. Okay. Here's why, Cindy. You're the person they trust, not corporate. Now, if someone's interested in, if somebody has a little interest, my recommendation for you is to just try to have a conversation with them and write 10 questions down that you have at your fingertips to ask them. Okay? So it's kind of like when you get on a conversation, I don't want you going in and talking about Juice Plus. I want you to ask them 10 questions. Okay? Mm-hmm. And so what happens is this is a way people need to be heard. You need to understand them. And this is the most effective way ever to share the business, in my opinion, is to have this conversation. Ask them questions like, well, how would you describe your health right now? Are you having any health struggles? Tell me about your nutrition. What's a day of eating look like for you? Do you take any sort of supplementation in your diet now? Are you exercising? What kind of exercise do you do? right? Do you have any injuries that you nurse that you have to be aware of? Do you drink water on a regular, like what kind of beverages do you consume? Do you drink a lot of alcohol? Like I'm just curious about, I just kind of want to get an assessment of where you're at. Right? What are your biggest struggles? Like, what do you want to achieve? Oh, you want to lose weight. How much weight do you want to lose? What do you want to lose? Why do you want to lose that weight? Is there a specific reason why you want to lose that weight? Like, just ask them a lot of questions. Okay. And then what happens is, now that you've asked all these questions, now you can authoritatively say, you know, I really think I can help you. I really do. And let me tell you why. Okay. Now you tell them about Juice Plus. Now you tell them about the studies. Now you tell them about your friend Sarah, who had this exact same problem, who has had great results. Right? Now they're like really intrigued. And you go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you a video with more information about this after we're done. So that's when the video is appropriate. The sale's already been made. The video. So I just want you guys to know that people buy emotionally and justify logically. Those videos are great to solidify the sale, because now that I've made a solution, I've given her my expertise. I've listened. I'm giving her my expertise. I really think you should do this and why. Now I'm going to send you the video, because what happens is after the call's over, the excitement starts to wane. She starts to go, $300, you know, I have to do that, you know, to do this. So then now she's watching the video and seeing all this. Now she's getting logical reinforcement for that feeling that she had with you on the phone. Does this make sense? We want to get emotional first. Help people. Let them know you care. Remember those 3 questions? Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Are you good at what you do? So that's why I'm following up on a share. I just want you guys to know this comes up a lot in our boot camps. I don't mean a weak share, like, oh, would you take a look at something, like a throwaway share? I mean, I've talked to you. We've got some interest here. Now I'm sharing with you from the heart. Now I'm following up. Does this make sense?
Yeah. Great answer.
Yeah. So it's a little bit deeper. It's a little bit harder to teach than just, hey, here's a script and a link to a video. Just fire this off to 1,000 friends. The problem is as we know, is we can fire that off to 1,000 friends. 4 of them will watch it, but then there's like 900 people who are now really jaded towards our next message, because they feel like we just tried to get something from them. Make sense?
What if you're trying? Oh, I'm sorry.
No, now, I would say to you, this question came up, well, I've already been sending them. How do I follow up now? So yeah, you know, ask them if they've watched the message, but not every time you message them, right? So next time you message them, just say, hey, checking in, how are you doing? You know, just be present. You don't have to ask every time if they watch the video. If that makes sense.
So what if you're helping a new partner reach a goal, like in Juice Plus QSC? So, you know, they need to get, you know, 10 orders or so and a new partner. How do you help them do that in 60 days when a lot of it is building relationships and just, you know, really taking time to get to know someone? Do you help them be more strategic in that, or no, you just build the relationship and go slow?
Well, first of all, there's no faster way to build results than the way I'm teaching you. There's absolutely no faster way to build results than the way I'm teaching you. So what I would say is they need to get into Teamzy. It's free for the first month. Get in there, go to one of my, watch my quick training video and get rocking on connecting with people. It's not all slow, Cindy. Some of it's slow. A lot of it's fast. In our relationships, there are people who trust us. Those people aren't going to take a long time to get there. Now, there's going to be a lot of people that we're warming up over time. So it's kind of like a cycle, right? So if you think about, think about your stovetop, right? You've got the big burners that cook things fast, and you've got the small burners that are a little slower. It's funny, that analogy just randomly popped in my head. But as you're going through your relationship, some people right away are going to be like, yeah, I trust you. If you think this is good, I'm in. And so they're going to be getting results right away. The reason why I do a full 30-day free trial of Teamzy is because I believe that if you apply yourself, even if you're brand new to the business the day you sign up for Teamzy, that you should be able to purchase an annual membership of Teamzy by the end of your 30 days with the income you've generated just working the system. There's no faster way. I'll tell you my story. You know, I was doing Beachbody. Some of you guys know my backstory. I was doing Beachbody. I had bought the P90X workout program 4 years before I actually did it. It was a dust collector in my garage. I played with it here and there, and whatever. And then I finally did it. I did it it was 90 days, P90X, 90 days. I did it every day for 90 days. I posted on social media, oh my gosh, I'm doing my workout again. I'm doing my workout again. I lost 60 pounds in 90 days. Everybody was like, how do I get a hold of this stuff? My wife was like, dummy, go sign up and be a coach and make money at this. So I did. I signed up as a coach, and I started doing this process that I'm teaching you, just reaching out to people, connecting with people intentionally. Okay. I signed up my first month. I signed up 12 distributors on my team. I didn't know that was good. I had no idea. I have no training in network marketing. Thank God. Because everything I've seen, I would never do. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I would never do that. Why do people do that? I went to my convention and I had this, they gave me this little medal. You know how you guys get medals and stuff? I had a medal. It was like an actual medal. People were like, wow, how long have you been in business? I'm like, 30 days. They're like, how have you been doing this 30 days? I'm like, what do you mean? I don't understand. It's totally different when you're coming from this place. It's different. You know, people trust you. They want to be with you. They want to work with you. They're excited. And they're like, how do I do this? And I'm like, I don't know. I just keep sharing. Let's just keep doing this together. So what happened to me after I got back from that convention was I got a call from corporate. And they said, hey, congratulations on meeting this leadership milestone. We want to put you in a group of other leaders across the country. We're going to get on Zoom once a week, and we're going to share ideas. That's when I learned about Go for No. That's when I learned about people sending scripts with videos and stuff. And that's when I realized that I was going to be the black sheep in this industry. Does that make sense? So I understand that what I'm teaching is a little bit different. Some of you guys it will resonate with. It's not that the other way doesn't work. It's just that it's incongruent with my personal values. It's not something I can sustain for very long because I can't take the rejection. Does that make sense? So it's just a different approach. But if you are wired like I am, and some of you are, I can tell by the way you're looking at me when I'm talking, this is going to be the way you want to build your business, right? This is going to be the way you want to build your business. And Cindy, I will tell you this, it will work quickly. A good friend of mine, Debbie, who's the very top of Rodan and Fields. Rodan and Fields is very aggressive, aren't they? Have you guys been approached by Rodan and Fields people? They are like, they teach them to be aggressive. I mean, it's like you're either in that aggressive mode or not. And when she started doing relationship marketing, even though she was already at, beyond $200,000 a year in income, she started taking a lot of criticism from her upline. And she came to me and said, how can I tell them to back off that this works for my team? And I said, don't tell them, show them. Let's do a 30-day challenge for your team. Get everybody in Teamzy. I'll do a training, kick it off, and we'll rock it. And she did. I mean, she blew the volume numbers out of what do you say? You blew them out of the water. That's what it is. She blew the volume numbers out of the water, and she said, relationship marketing works for us. And they kind of backed off. So that's just kind of the thing. It's like, I'm not trying to cause trouble, but I want to offer an alternative that I believe makes more sense. And honestly, I mean, some of you guys know me personally. You know that I'm a person of strong faith, and the relationship marketing system follows biblical principle. And that's for me, I mean, that's why it works, but that for me is the most important thing. So.
Yeah. And I definitely believe in relationship marketing. I feel like that's what my business is based on. But I just had a few questions. I also was wondering, and I don't want to monopolize this, but like if a number of people in a lot of different, from a lot of different companies are sharing those same scripts, does it come across as, oh, somebody else is trying to start a conversation with me in order to sell me something?
I don't believe people would recognize that when somebody said hello, that somebody else said hello the same way.
Yeah.
Scripts are so simple.
Yeah.
Just like a hello script.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I try to change it and personalize it a little bit, but that adds more words and they probably can't. I mean, I don't try to make it long, but.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as you just keep the spirit, it's just a way to say hello and connect with people. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I don't believe that's a major problem because you're building relationship, you're saying hello and they respond, and everything that happens after that's organic, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I've never had a problem with that. You know, I've never seen a problem with even sending that same message to everybody, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because it's not like they go, oh, Eric reached out and said hi to me the other day. Oh, he said hi to me too. Well, what did he say verbatim? Let's compare, right? That's never been. Does that make
Yeah.
sense? Like, no, it's just kind of like, oh, he's reaching out, and people will be like, you know, I had people going, you're reaching out to me because you're building your business. And I said, well, yeah, I am building my business, but I'm reaching out to you because you're someone I'm interested in having a relationship with. If I can help you in the business, great. Like sometimes you will get people, I know we had some New England people here, right? New England people can be very direct, and that's okay. Yeah. So just be direct back. Yeah, I am building my business, but I'm building it based on relationships. You're somebody that I trust and that I respect, and I want to have a relationship with you. And of course, if I can help you with my business, I'd love to do that at some point. Like, don't be afraid of that. You know, I actually had somebody, you know, right now we're promoting the next round of boot camp. So you guys are in Teamzy. You're already starting to get emails from my email system, like telling you about boot camp. So the last round, which was 3 months ago, I got an email from somebody responding to one of those, and it said, how can you charge for a course in the midst of a pandemic? What a disgusting, greedy person you are, or something like that. Right? So it's like, how do you respond to that? So I responded. I said, I'm really sorry that it came across that way. You know, my business is based on helping people be successful. I feel like people need it more than ever right now. So if I could do 2 of them right now during the pandemic, I would. I just don't have the bandwidth. But and I'm not going to apologize for making a living helping people. That's what I do. Neither should you guys. Right? So I help people all day long, and I would love to help you. And I do. Yes, I get paid for doing it. And shouldn't I? I mean, I give you at least 3 scriptures if you're minded that way on how I should get paid for helping people. And that's okay. Right? So just be open with people. I always tell people, like, you know, the other thing on this is, I know that I'm going off on a different tangent than you asked me, Cindy, but you know, it's kind of like you give a soapbox to a preacher and you get a sermon. So people would ask me like, well, aren't you getting you just want a commission? I go, you know, if you were to make this purchase, yes, I would get a commission and I would be really grateful for it. But I want to be honest with you. Though I would be grateful for the $30 or so of commission that I would earn from this sale, that's not going to change my life. However, you making this purchase might very well change your life, which is why I'm having the conversation with you. Right? And so it's like just being honest with people about stuff. Like, yeah, I'm going to make money from this, but it's not because I want to make $30 that I've spent all this time talking to you. It's because I want to give you this opportunity to have something life-changing. Does that make sense? So if you guys can get to there's all this fear and anxiety associated with building this business. If we can just boil it down to heart, what do we believe about these products? What do we believe about how we feel about people? And just focus on communicating that in a systematic way, the results will be great. Any other questions?
I have a couple of questions, if you don't mind. This is a kind of a dumb question, but you can probably answer it really quickly. You know how you said make it so they can read that whole message on that you're texting? How many characters is that? Because I honestly don't know. I don't have a clue.
I don't know how many characters it is, but if you keep it to like 2 sentences, maybe 3 if they're short, okay, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Now, the reason for that is...
And my other question... Oops.
The reason for that is if they can't read the whole message, it's kind of annoying because you really want to know what it says, but you don't want to open it. So you're kind of stuck in this quandary of, do I open it or not, right? So we want to make it easy on them.
I never knew that before you told me, so I open everything. But my other quick question, and it's kind of weird maybe, but do you ever take it away from somebody? Meaning, like I had a person, and he's like, yeah, I'd love to learn more about oxidative stress, blah, blah, blah. And so I invited him, and he came back, and I invited him, and now I feel like I've invited him like 3 times, and I don't, and Cindy and I have talked about this, I don't want him to feel like I'm like he's my make or break, you know, he's my do or die. I just, like you just said, I want to, this could help you. You were the one who asked these questions, but how do you go about doing
Okay.
that, I guess?
What were you inviting him to, like an event or class you were doing?
Yes. Yeah. An event, a Juice Plus, like a Zoom, just
Okay.
showing him the business. He wanted to learn.
Okay.
And then there's been some that have literally talked about it.
So I would invite him to talk personally one-on-one with you. It's less threatening to say, hey, look, and the way I would do it is I would say, hey, look, you know, I'm not trying to be a pest, but you told me you wanted to learn more about this, and I want to faithfully respect that request. And so if you have 5 minutes, we can just, no big deal. We can jump on a Zoom or we can jump on the phone and talk a little bit about it and get you the information you talked about. You know, and again, as far as taking it away, I agree that you need to not be holding on tight to the outcome because people don't want to be sold, right? But people do want to be helped, and sales is really just helping solve people's problems. People don't want to be sold in that they don't want to feel like they're being manipulated. So, but what we want to do is solve their problems. So you just got to come across that way. Like, hey, you know, I want to honor your request for information on this. And I know you haven't been able to make the last couple events, no big deal. But if you have 5 minutes, we can jump on a call and I can find out what's going on with you and maybe share some of that information with you. Does that make sense? Now, what you may find is he's not really interested, which it's okay. Like, so I call this measuring the motivation. You may find that he's not really very interested. And so then what I would do is just release him back into your Teamzy flow, let him cycle through a few months. And then just next time it comes up, just be like, hey, how have you been? It's been a while since I checked in on you. How's everything going? And just get back to having a nice conversation with him. Does that make sense? Because sometimes there's very little interest. And so it's just a matter of showing them like, no, I really do care about this relationship. And I'll continue to do that over time, even when you say no to me right now.
Okay. Just to follow up on that, my bigger issue is like, what if I don't feel like I know enough about that to have that conversation with him? I've always been taught like a third party validation is important. So, I mean, like, he specifically wanted to know about oxidative stress. Should I just go learn more about oxidative stress and how it would help him when he's lifting his weights? Because that's kind of what he's talking about. He's a weightlifter.
I would learn more about it so that you could have the basic conversation and then have resources that you could follow up with, that you could send him. Okay. The bottom line is, that's not going to be the reason he buys Juice Plus.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that's piqued his interest. So what you need now is, now that you've piqued his interest, you need to listen to him more. Find out what's going on with him. So you lift weights. What are you hoping to learn? You know, whatever. And then you can connect him, introduce him. You know, if you've got somebody on the team who's a big weightlifter, like introduce, you know what I mean? Like, so, but you have to find out really where he's coming from first more. So you don't have to be an expert on that, but learn the basics of it and then connect some stuff to it. I'm the kind of person that, I'll be honest with you guys, I always try to think of this, and this is what I recommend you do. Put yourselves in the shoes of the other person. How would you respond? How would you respond? This makes it really helpful. So you invite me to class. Yeah, I kind of want to go, and I don't. I sign up for webinars all the time. I end up not showing up too. Do you guys do that? I mean, people like I do webinars every week, and people, like 30% is the show rate for my webinars. I know that that's excellent in the industry. Did you know that 30% is excellent, or 33%? It's one out of 3 people show. That's an excellent show rate. Like that's just a normal expectation to have. So if I want to have 500 people on a webinar, I need 1,500 registered. But sometimes people won't show, it's no big deal. But a lot of times if you say, hey, let's just talk for 5 minutes, it's that kind of like person-to-person accountability that makes you go, okay. Right? And they're thinking, this is either going to suck or be okay. They're not thinking, I can't wait for this conversation in most cases. So what happens is when you come into the call now and you're just really interested. So tell me what's going on. What piqued your interest the most? Why oxidative stress? So what are your goals? And I start asking questions and being really intrigued. Then they're thinking, okay, this is okay. And by asking people questions, you really come across authoritative. Based on what you've told me so far, I really think this could help you. I really do. And here's why. Make sense?
So is that an actual call, Eric, a phone call?
Phone call, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever you can get people to do.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah. And just tell them it'll be 5 minutes. It's just like 5 minutes. Just like 5 minutes.
And do you keep it to 5 minutes even though?
Never.
Okay.
I can't talk to 5 minutes to anyone. I talk forever.
Yeah.
Now, if they're not, I'll let them off in 5 minutes if they're totally not interested.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm not gonna sit on an awkward conversation. But once we start connecting and rapport builds and it goes on and I'll say, look, I know I said that we can keep this brief. We can, and they'll be like, no, it's okay. People will usually give you permission to keep going.
Yeah.
But you'll know if they're engaged and excited, like keep going and ask more questions and talk. And I know, in my experience, if somebody got on a call and they engaged and we did talk for a while, they almost always became a customer or joined my team, right? Because you've had some time to build trust. There's this thing called the twaddle effect, and it's a weird word, but that it takes at least 12 minutes before people start to trust you. Like you have to talk to people. That's why when I do videos, they're always long. That's why, even though we were only that's why we're still talking 90 minutes in. Because I know that investing more time gives you a chance to get to know me more. It gives you a chance to see who I am more, right? Because over time, people show their true colors. And so the same thing with your prospects. If you can get them in for 5 minutes and they want to talk longer, that's great because it gives them a chance to get to know you better, right? And then what happens is you might only have a real conversation with a customer one time like this. Then over time, when they come up on Teams and you're sending them messages, those messages are so meaningful because it ties back to this real interaction you had. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool. I mean, even some of you guys on this call who I've never met and maybe never will meet in person, like if we Facebook message in the future, there's going to be meaning behind the quick message because we had this time together, if that makes sense. So hopefully that helps.
May I ask one more question specifically about logging calls?
Yeah.
My struggle is when I am logging my Teamzy calls, when I go back to talk to them again, maybe to invite them or whatever, I feel like it takes me a long time because I'm maybe writing down too much information on what they're saying, but some of it I'm trying to remember because I'm old. So,
that's just a personal thing. Like, if we're I would often say, do you mind if I take notes while we talk? It just depends on if that's an appropriate time to do that, because sometimes you may not be there yet. It might just be real casual and then be like, why are you going to take notes? That's weird. So just whatever's appropriate, but just the main bullets. That's the main thing. Pain points. But I also look for things that I can do to kind of wow people later. Like I want to know, oh, you have a dog. What's your dog's name? How old's your dog? Like when they tell me about their dog, I'm sorry, my dog's barking, like, what's your dog's name? How old's your dog? I'm a dog person. I love dogs. So I like to put that in their Teamzy, like their dog's name is whatever, this type of dog. What kind of dog is it? Oh, cool. And tell them a little about my dog, that kind of stuff. Like I like to know that stuff. For many years, I've coached real estate professionals building their business. And I always tell real estate professionals, you need to find out what someone's favorite Starbucks drink is as a priority. Put that in their CRM record. They're like, why? I go, because when you show up to their house with their Starbucks drink, with their name in Sharpie on the cup, it's $4 investment. And it makes a huge investment in their like trust of you. Like, wow, how did you remember that? Right? Like little things like that. It's like, I want you guys to think about little details that will help you. So I'm probably not helping you, Liza. I'm telling you to take down more instead of less, but just get the bullets, like the things that things you want to know about them, or the pain points that they have where they're struggling, right? I once had a client who told me that he didn't sleep more than 3 hours a day. His whole adult life, he sleeps 3 hours. He just struggles with sleeping. And it was just in passing. And I made a note of it. And I ordered him a book on Amazon to help people that struggle with sleep, and sent it to him. And he thought that was the most amazing thing. Right. So he was like, I can't believe that. Thank you for sending me that. That was so thoughtful. It's just like little things like that. I would try to glean and then forget the rest.
Okay. No, that is helpful, because I do that because I feel like I need to, but I want to know, am I overthinking it, I guess, is my question.
If the question is, am I overthinking it? The answer is always yes.
Eric.
But that's okay. You're human. I mean, like we do that. We all overthink, but yeah. I mean, just when it's so interesting. So a good friend of mine, Barbara, who I've consulted on her business for the past 7 years in Los Angeles. She told me yesterday that when she's overthinking, she shakes her head. You know, like when you're falling asleep and you wake yourself up? She says she shakes her head to stop it. And people are like, what are you doing? She's like, nothing. I'm just resetting my brain so that I can move forward. I like that. It's just like she shakes her head. That's like her 5-second rule. Have you guys read the 5-second rule, where you count down from 5, and before you get to 0, you just move your body and do something when you're stuck in the thinking mode. So you might be overthinking a little. Liza, don't beat yourself up. Just do your best and trust God for the rest. All right. One more question, and then I've got to go. And you do too.
Okay. If somebody else has a question, I won't ask mine. So, because I've asked plenty. So anybody else?
I think they like the questions you're asking.
Okay. So when I do Teamzy, so many times I find myself, instead of following the list of names, I find myself putting in a name and making, using that as my connection, because there's always lots of people who are running through my mind that aren't necessarily on my Teamzy list. So that really means that everybody who's really on the system that you've provided, they are falling through the cracks, right?
So there's nothing wrong with doing what you're doing, but yeah, just understand that if you're not cycling through the list, there are people you're not getting to.
Right.
So
but if you have a lot of connections, then how can you get to all of those people in 30 days if they're a number 5?
Most people shouldn't have more than 10 or 15 5-star people.
Really?
Yeah, most people, I mean, let's put it this way. It's not normal to be in touch with somebody every 30 days unless you're very close relationship with them. And what'll happen is, after you cycle through a couple of times, let's say you've got a bunch of people as 5s, and they come up maybe the 3rd time, you're going to start thinking, I just messaged this person. And as soon as you start thinking that it's too soon, that's when you move them to a 4-star and start spacing out the content.
Yeah, but even partners?
Oh, partners on your team?
Yeah.
I mean, if your team is small, they're all 5 stars, right? But when I'm talking to Kurt Beavers, for example, he doesn't have 20,000 people at 5 stars. Does that make sense? So,
yeah.
So that will change. And after a while, you start thinking of stars as not necessarily the quality of this person or the relationship, but how often do I want to be in touch with them?
Okay, gotcha.
Right? And so as the list gets bigger, that's what it really comes down to, is how often do I want to talk to them? You may have somebody who's an amazing advocate, but really only wants to hear from you every 3 months, which is fine.
Okay, yeah.
Over time. Make sense?
Yeah, makes sense.
All right. Well, thank you all for spending some time with me today. Hopefully it was helpful. Hopefully you guys got some great value. Keep in mind, Teamzy for Juice Plus partners is only $19.95. It's 34% off the normal price of $30 a month. So it's like 60 cents a day to have all this planned for you, right? Plus you write it off your taxes. So hopefully you guys will take advantage of that. I highly recommend, if you're new to Teamzy, that you get a success partner for 30 days. Find someone on the team, say, let's do this for 30 days together, right? and hold each other accountable so you get more out of it. Also, we do have boot camp that's getting ready to start on September 28th. It's open registration. If you really are interested in a 12-week intensive program where you're personally mentored by me and my mentor, Mike Lopez, for 12 weeks on how to do relationship marketing and use Teamzy to the fullest, take a look at boot camp. You can go to teamzy.com/bootcamp to learn more about that. So God bless you guys. Thanks for being on with me. Lisa, I will send you the recording later today so you have it for the rest of the team. See y'all later.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a good
Thank
day.
you, Eric.
Thank you.
See ya.